Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I extended a warm welcome on behalf of AIMS IBS. I find an immense pleasure in introducing our honorable speaker, Professor Kupada Kiran, Managing Director, Gratic, our partner for today's event, ITHON. He has a working experience in industry in academia for 20 plus years. He worked with CMM level 5 IT companies. His forte is strategy, business development, sales, digital marketing, analytics. He has more than 10 plus years of experience in training with leading universities and business schools, training, teaching executive, and regular MBA, PGDM programs. He has trained 2,000 plus professionals with an impetus on skilling and upskilling meeting industry expectations. He has also impaneled consultant faculty trainer at Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, an industry expert in advisory at Samanti Reddy Women Engineering College, SI University. The presence of such a great personality in this event is a blessing. We are really thankful to him for taking the time out of his busy schedule to the event. We are very grateful to him for accepting our invitation and making his presence here. So please join me in welcoming Professor Kupada Kiran. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I'd request our coordinator, Akash, to facilitate sir to share his presentation.
Sir, you've been made the co-host. If you want to share your screen, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, just give me a moment. I'll do that. Just a moment. Yeah, I've shared my screen. Let me know if it's visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible and you are also clearly audible.
Okay, and I'm visible as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening to everyone. A long duration of analytics and a lot of data for young minds. I'm privileged to share my experiences and knowledge. Thank you for my introduction from the coordinators. You also have been doing a wonderful job. I was listening to Mr. Abhishek and with Shamaita. There's been a lot of questions that has been uprising. I'm not a technology person, relatively a business, marketing, sales, a digital marketing kind of a person. Uh, my input to all of you is clarify your preconceived notions. Analytics is a huge, vast area. It is being applied in every sector and subsector globally as we speak. There are startups which are going ahead to become $1 billion companies. Primarily, we call them the unicorns. Uh, if at all you have any non-clarity of a topic or an area, you could write to us. We will revert back to you to share the information so that you know, should you learn a programming language? Should you learn a database? Should you learn a visualization tool? Should you learn the entire gamut in under the AI umbrella, under the machine learning space, or should you restrict only to big data? It is a choice that you can make. I mean, nobody stops anyone from learning knowledge as in technology, methodology, process, domain, right? So it is again a huge, vast area for everybody to get adhered to and know. A few inputs from Shamaita's in earlier sessions as well. One area that we will be discussing for the next 45 minutes to 1 hour is on the business side, the business perspective. It's always been of interest and my core area, how enterprises, businesses, startups, the large scale companies, are all people in the mad rush, or just people are just jumping the gun because company A wants to implement or imbibe an analytics tool to progress forward, or is it just about a rat race because I want to become $1 billion company, I want to become a $5 billion company? Any guess how much is Baiju classes valuated at today? Anybody? Either you can speak or you can use a chat window. What is the valuation of Byju's? Some number, a number that you can recall or that you can think without going to the internet and checking. Anyway, if you're taking time, Byju's is valued at $10 billion. So a company from Bangalore in the technology, education, or the tech ed space, what made this company grow so faster? What has been the key drivers? Was there not an opportunity before Byju's has penetrated? And I would rather say they have a market dominance today, not just in India, they're expanding into a lot of countries as well. So the insights for us, I mean, we have a comprehensive presentation. The insights for all of us is how do you grow a company? Do you want to grow 2 times, 5 times, 20 times, maybe 100 times? Very much possible. We're all using digital tools in one format or the other. Maybe if this COVID blessing in disguise for all of us, some would say yes, some might not say yes, correct? Because we all have access to information on our tablets, on laptop, or mobile phone, desktops, and gadgets. So we will look into and see what you should be doing. Should you, as an organization, as a business entity, should you go to your users or should you look at the data? Is data relevance to you? All of us have a Facebook account. All of us have a WhatsApp account. All of us have not many accounts. If you go to your mobile phone or your laptop and type Facebook for business, Facebook for business is used by many organizations. I guess most of you would have your LinkedIn account. Some of you will be very active on LinkedIn. Some of you might be partially active. Every week, LinkedIn throws a graph saying that your people who viewed your profile, either your graph is going up or your graph is going down. It is from a personal standpoint. Okay, am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, great. So when you
Yes, sir.
don't
Yes,
have
sir.
when you have the graph going down, you definitely want to know and see why are people not looking into your profile. People will look into your profile when you make your profile interesting, not by posting a picture. You post something of relevance in your particular LinkedIn group, or if it is on a public domain. If you look at my LinkedIn page, every week there will be 2, 3 articles which are progressive, which are futuristic, which have got a business reason and a business validation. So likewise, if you look at from an organization LinkedIn page, do companies would want to get more traction? Traction is a common term that is used in the business world, meaning you are gaining somebody's attention. You're trying to capture a brand's data, a company's data, and advertising information that resonates in your thought process. So from a consumer behavior standpoint, from a brand recall standpoint, from a brand insight standpoint, how many times do you have to go back and connect? Do companies use data? Should companies use data? I mean, let's be a little more realistic. Unfortunately, IPL has been terminated. There are a lot of cricket lovers in India. BCCI says, the Star Sports says they're looking at a loss of 2,000 crores, right? So what happens to all the companies who have invested crores and millions of rupees for their ad campaigns, for their product launches, because they feel IPL is the most widely watched tournament around the world, far ahead than soccer or baseball or any other game. So data management, number crunching is very critical and very much imperative. So if you look at this molecular structure, if you were to work with a startup or a number one tier one company, for everyone, one important aspect boils down is when do I make or when do I get the next customer? What is my approach to acquiring the next customer? There's a concept called single customer acquisition cost. It's called SQAC. You talk to Amazon, you talk to Flipkart, you talk to Big Basket, you talk to anyone. Their challenge every day is how do they make me as their next customer? How much should they spend on me? Because I might have an Amazon account, I might not buy. I might go to Amazon website, spend 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and still don't buy. What does Amazon do? Amazon tracks me down on the internet. They would want me to push. For them, it is called, in the push marketing world, to push for me to buy 1 product or buy 2 products or maybe buy 3 products. So likewise, if you just break down this particular molecular structure, and if you can write down, and if you can look at what is your short-term and long, how do you think you would be able to achieve your revenue? Revenue is not magic. There is a process. There is a sales process. There is a marketing effort that has to go in. There is a methodology. There should be an aspect called as a tried and tested approach, right? Until and unless we don't test and try a product, we will never know what are the key factors that make a product successful or a product failure. Now, why are we discussing these aspects in this session or this forum? Sales analytics, marketing analytics, consumer behavior analytics, analytics for decision making. A major challenge any CEO or CIO, any C-level executive in India will face if they have to launch a new product in 2021. When should they launch? What will it be successful? Will it not be successful? So should they increase their production or should they decrease their production? These are challenges, business challenges. These are challenges that organizations encounter. So the data that you have, the futuristic data, so Mr. Abhishek was talking about prediction. Can I make a prediction for the next 3 months? Can I make a prediction for the next 6 months? Right? On one side, the government of India says, be ready for the third wave of COVID. And on the flip side, they're saying the peak of second wave is not yet still there. We are not in the peak of second wave. The third wave, be ready, beware for the third wave of COVID to come. So if you were to launch a product, would you launch a product or what would you tend to do? When the lockdown was announced in Karnataka, other states, the first day, 8 days back, I was moving around. People were doing panic buying. People were buying products as if the next 3 months, they might not get any food products. They might not get any essential products, right? There are a lot of studies, a lot of research papers that are being done in terms of consumer behavior, specifically in terms of the panic buying perspective. So let's look at what realistic people talk about in terms of their market campaigns, their market impact on social media. How do they look at converting and diverting their traffic? Which is the most sought after medium? Okay, last 4 days, if anybody has observed on YouTube, there are music videos which are being run as part of the ads. If you have closely observed any YouTube video, in between a YouTube video, there were generally 5-second, 10-second advertisements that were played. I'm observing an entire Bollywood Salman Khan song being played for about 2 minutes on the advertisement aspect itself. So what are they trying to do? They are stopping a customer. They're stopping a user to watch the new yet to be released Salman Khan's movie, which is due on May 13th, if I'm pretty sure if the date is correct. So likewise, what are the various tools that are required? What do you do with a structured to an unstructured data? If you were to join a company as a sales, marketing, analytics perspective, one critical criteria of the choice will be how many campaigns should you run to achieve your weekly, monthly, quarterly, half-yearly, annual targets. This is a day in, day out exercise. I've been in the marketing and sales area for about 20 plus years. I've worked with a lot of global customers, global teams, and B2B and B2C space. So there's a day in, day out challenge because if we do not progress with our business, we might not have a good revenue and higher profitability. Neil Patel is a very famous person. If you just go to the internet and type his name, he's everywhere on the digital marketing platform. So there are different perspectives, there are different experiences that are shared by people. So likewise, you see, how do you engage audience? Is it the content? Is it the text? Is it the audio? Is it an audio visual? Is it a podcast? We'll have to try and test it. It's not magic. You'll have to try and test it, and then only you feel that, okay, we're getting a good amount of a response. We're getting the right kind of response for us. The bigger question is, how much should we invest? I'm not sure how many of you have come across spend analysis and sentiment analysis. The two major aspects in the marketing business domain for any product, especially in the B2C space. So how do you want to analyze and see where is the customer spending? Is he spending online or is he spending offline? What is the trade-off between offline and online? We'll leave COVID aside for a moment. We're talking about an idealistic scenario. The second important aspect is the sentiment analysis. What are the sentiments that drive a consumer to acquire a product? Why do people, I mean, I'm not religion biased. In one religion says black should not be considered or worn or bought on a auspicious day or on a festival day. Maybe somebody said it doesn't work very well, but does that really make it very effective? So lead conversions, another important aspect is about a lead conversion. What is the lead time? How much time do you require? Like I said, single customer acquisition cost. How much should I spend a lead to get converted? If you undergo or if you look at any B2B or a B2C life cycle process, you would get to understand this much better. Another dimensional aspect is a customer lifetime value called CLV. Harvard Business School has published a lot of reports, a lot of reports by global leading the business schools as well. Customer lifetime value. How long does the customer remain with the product? Okay. If you look at the offline, the flip side, uh, of businesses are just understand one important aspect, right? Companies like Bata, they've been in business for about 130 years. How have they been able to sustain? How many customers go into a Bata store every day? Similarly, you apply this to an Amazon or a Flipkart or a Big Basket or a Walmart or whatever. How many customers, how many prospects, how many suspects visit an Amazon store? And how many people, what is the actual purchase? Is it in line with their expectation and reality? So there are perspectives, there are imperatives that the companies are being to do on a continuous basis. On the sales technologies front, if you have to look at the 10 sales technologies with a projected growth rate. So is it AI that you want to do? Shamaita was talking about chatbots. If you go to Microsoft.com, there you don't find a sales guy. A chatbot will ask you a question and it will direct you to which division or which product support. Either it could be for a sale or a support of a Microsoft product that you would require. Marketing automation. What kind of technologies under the marketing automation one would require? If it is a partner relation management system or a partner relationship management product, how many partners that you think you would want to do? Salesforce automation, a very important high trust, high focus area for all the management students. If you visit salesforce.com, a very prominent company started by two people in a garage in America. Today, they are at the #1 CRM Salesforce automation company in the world. Similarly, there's a company called Zoho from Chennai, ZOHO. It is a unicorn company which acquired $1 billion turnover in less than 5 years. They do a phenomenal job. You can visit their website, go to the Google Play Store, download their app and see what does ZOHO company, Zoho, offers for an end user. So likewise, there are many aspects in terms of opportunity management, customer insight, sales apps for employees, prospecting tools, competitive intelligence tools. All of this would be required because if you want to grow, I mean, I'm using growth here in terms of 2 times the growth. If you break a financial year into 4 quarters, Q1 to Q4, you look at Q1, what is your Q1 achievement, Q2 and Q3. Can you double Q1 3 times in Q3 or Q4 and see if you have achieved those kind of numbers, right? So essentials are a business plan. I mean, just this high level walkthrough or an overview here is about, you need to write, you need to look at where should you focus. Should you focus on a country or a defocus on a country? Why? What could be a very high level priority? Just one observation you can make in the last 1 year, once COVID has impacted all over the world, including India, how many healthcare companies have been identifying business opportunities? Leave aside Pfizer and Moderna, maybe the Sputnik from Russia. I'm not talking about the big top 10, top 20. There are many companies which have had a phenomenal potential. Look at how the companies would have gone to their drawing boards and changed their business growth and their business projection. Sales plan, sales activity is also very much required. Without having a bread and butter, you cannot do anything. So this is very imperative and important for companies to look at and work through and see what are the numbers that you're looking at. So somebody says, we will give you 1 crore of data of a young group of 25 to 35 in India. A BBC report said sometime back, by 2024 or 2025, the youngest population in the world with age group of 18 to 30 is going to be from India. A very potential population. This population is also called the millennial group. Millennial group are the most sought after group in terms of new purchases, new purchase that these people tend to do. So likewise, look at the numbers, look at an action plan and see what you could do. If there is an activity, if there is a target that you think you could achieve, have a realistic number in terms of how can you achieve those numbers and achieve those target driven goals that can be associated or assigned. Just yeah, a marketing plan. So when you write down, when you put together, again, a high level observation here that we would be doing here is, if you have a financial year with a global market reach into 4 quarters, look at what you would want to do as a company, irrespective of the kind of sales force or a marketing force that are required. You're all youngsters, are very fortunate people. Many companies are giving internships for you all people to work from home. You're getting jobs to work from home, which was not the case 5 years back, 10 years back, 20 years back. I mean, you're slightly fortunate. The productivity level is always a question and a challenge that you would want to. So moving forward, digital aspects. So what is the best way or the best approach that one could think or one would do in terms of a digital innovation? The top level priority of any user interface of any application in any format of a device is your UX, which is called the user experience. CX is the customer experience, and your user interface. How much time does anybody spend on a web link or a web page that comes to you on your mobile phone or a desktop or a laptop? Anybody? Just a quick top of the mind question.
Participants can use chat box to answer sir's question. It is now made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would not spend more than 3 seconds. Max time I spend on a web link that comes to me is 5 seconds. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I think there's one answer which is saying 1 hour.
Oh my goodness. 1 hour is a long period. 3 to 5 seconds all of us spend. Otherwise, the whole day we will be only looking at our Facebook page and doing nothing else. So bear in mind, if somebody sends an email to you and says, okay, fill up a form, does it interest you? It might not interest you. Somebody says, I will give you 100 rupees of Amazon voucher to fill up form. 99% people will. Let me say that. And Amazon says, we will redeem this 100 rupees in your 5 purchases. Amazon is not a charity company, right? So can you create an interest? My point here is, when you're creating a form and telling Mr. X, we are launching a new product, please fill a form, you'll get a reward points of 100 rupees. You'll think, wow, why not? I mean, let's go ahead and do it. But they'll say not the first, maybe the second purchase, 4th purchase, 6th purchase. Marketing people are quite clever. I mean, they do a lot of things to get customers' attention, customers' attraction. So customer-centric approach. If you were to do any analytics kind of a assessment and an execution, try to understand the customer inside. This is a very critical area. If we go wrong here, our entire execution process will not be very effective. I would not say failure and success are part of any business game. So customer insights is very essential. The strategy that companies would try to build. Okay, April 1st to April 10th, there were about 6 to 7 unicorns in India in the first 10 days of the financial year. In India, 6 to 7 unicorns. Unicorn is a 1 billion turnover company. So what is the effort all these companies try to do? And majority are from Bangalore. Bangalore is the startup hub of Asia. The most of the unicorns are from Bangalore itself. So we are very fortunate for being in Bangalore. Forget about, I would not talk much about COVID now. We will leave COVID aside. So business redesign, competency, implementation, and transitions. If we can look at a customer-centric approach, try to apply the Pareto's rule of 80-20. It is not easy to get a new customer every time. The effort, if it can go into get business from existing customers. So see the best approach that can be utilized. There are a lot of characteristics. We will not run down through all of this. This is just for your information in terms of how we look at customer-centric companies. What have been the sustainable model? How have they been sustaining for a very long duration, right? How much is the cheapest hand sanitizer from Lifebuoy? Anybody? A guess. Maybe you can use a chat or your voice. How old is Lifebuoy as a brand? Just a minute of thought. You don't have to research. I mean, you can just put in your point or put in your viewpoint. How old is Lifebuoy as a brand, and what has been their lowest product priced in the hand sanitizer segment?
I think people do not even want to guess. Yeah, Syed is saying probably 20 years old.
Okay, we'll take one or two guesses more.
One more answer is 120 years old.
Okay.
One answer is 15 years old.
Right. Lifebuoy is as old as 1895. It's a pretty old company, about 130 years. The brand is
So
owned
it
by
is
Hindustan.
Priyanka Christopher who has given then the right answer. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So 1895 old brand, very successful in the market. Many people might not use Lifebuoy products. The hand sanitizer was as low as 15 rupees. Last year when COVID has struck us, 15 rupees was their cheapest. Do they make a profit out of it? Definitely, yes. Unilever is the #1 retail company in the entire, I mean, all over the world. So likewise, the mega trends, one important aspect that all of us should look at is which way is the industry heading? Which way is the industry heading? What is that a tier 1, tier 2, or a tier 3 company is looking at? Maybe all of it we might not imbibe. We should look at a technology and marketing automation or a sales automation or a business tool that can accelerate our business processes. This becomes very imperative. Otherwise, what happens is we will be left behind the race. Our business processes will get slowed down. So a perfect assessment in terms of what kind of tools that needs to be required. Should you use the ZOH or CRM tool? Should you go to an AI marketing and artificial intelligence tool, which can give you maybe a 40%, 60% of acceleration in your business process? Definitely yes. So understanding the behavior, if you look at the various perspectives, multi-dimensional aspects, so all of it is required. These are all tried and tested approaches of a customer behavior. Consumer, if consumer is not willing to pay, if consumer is not buying, the company should shut down. It's as simple as that. If you have seen Future Group, a fantastic company, Big Bazaar has been a phenomenal brand. Again, not to bring COVID into our discussion many a times, they were reeling under a loss of 24,000 crores. A brand which has shaped, which has transformed the shaping behavior of the middle class, lower middle class strata of the Indian consumer community has got sold away because they were not able to sustain. So bear in mind, whatever company we work for, whatever company you look at and try to understand, what kind of a business model strategy you create, why has they been phenomenally successful? Yahoo is a company which has been there very prominent much before Google. Yahoo is almost like a dead company. American Online was a very popular company. If you go to the American Online history, they peaked and they were a fantastic company around the world. Today, AOL, you don't hear about them. Okay, I mean, there are a lot of business model, business transition, and business changes. I mean, this is just about insights that is being given and being provided to understand. If we were to build a strategy, if we were to write a strategy, what is the approach we use? How do we take analytics help or the dependency of analytics in terms of looking at, okay, my target to get 1,000 crore by 10,000 customers is achieved in Q1, Q2, Q3, or whatever that you think you could be looking at. Innovation, again, from the analytics standpoint or the analytics perspective, the utility, the time that is required for new product development, new product introductions. because 9 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 people would always look at something new. If you don't do, your competitor will do. So there is a high pressure on most of the product companies, services companies, that they have a high thrust on innovation. Look at the business model centric innovation of Uber. All right. So the model, the structure, their process. So this is not a one-time activity. It is a continuous activity. We have had a lot of discussions. Maybe a model which is imbibed, created, and developed by Google in 2021. You might find a radical change in 2022. Why? Because there's been a change in the consumer behavior side. There's been a change in the market trend that has been happening across. So omni-channel presence, the great customer experience. So if you were to look at, if you have to create a matrix in terms of brand capability, product capability, I mean, service readiness or a service offering to the market, you should see all the vertical side listed on the capability standpoint. If at all you're not very capable, can you make it compelling for customers to come and buy again? All right. There are a lot of non-online, non-success stories in India where Indian companies have given a tough stand for their global brands. Any guesses at Indian company which competes with global brands in India? Just offline thought. Any one or two brands anybody can think who competes with global companies in India as we speak? You could use either the chat window or you could use a microphone, either ways.
Patanjali is one answer that you're getting, sir.
Fantastic, ma'am. I expect it. Any other brand? We use a lot of products every day. It's a lot of products which you can do a brand recall. I mean, just a top of the question, a top of the mind recall.
Tata's, Infosys, Dabur, these are some of the answers that are coming in.
Okay.
It is, of course, not an Indian brand. KFC, Facebook, these are not Indian brands. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give a hint, a company from Kerala. I mean, there are a lot of Indian brands. I mean, the point why we're discussing this again is there's a company called Jyoti Laboratories. A single person started from a place called Thrissur in Kerala. Today, they are a 1,800 crore company. They compete with Unilever for surf and drink. You could search on Jyoti Laboratories on the website, on the internet. They give a very stiff competition to Nirma, to Surf, to Procter & Gamble, or to the top leading companies. So likewise, if you were to be a startup and grow, that's why I said I use this company called ZOHO. ZOHO was a very small company 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago. Today, they give a run for the global companies. They compete with Microsoft CRM, Oracle CRM. So nothing stops us. So what is the success formula? The point that we need to look at and understand is what is the success formula of the company? So if you look at a market, I mean, these are all real-time data representation that is being shared to you. If you look at a geography, if you look at a segment, if you look at your TSP or STP, which is your targeting, segmenting, and positioning, plus analytics. I mean, I'm bringing the analytics dimension there. So do you need analytics? Do you need data? Do you need first-hand data? What kind of data do you require? What is this market opportunity, or what is the opportunity that you think we are getting at? So these are very critical aspects, because if I were to invest 1,000 crore, if I were to invest 5,000 crore, if I had to pump in a lot of money, will I break even? Will I reach my revenue? Will I reach my profit? Will I reach my target business level? What do I do with it? That becomes very imperative. It is not such an easy task that, okay, we learn Python as a programming language, we learn a marketing analytics tool and we're done with it. Definitely not. If somebody says, okay, IPL 2021, let us invest 1,000 crore. People are watching matches on Hotstar, on different modes of media, on TV, on social media, on YouTube. They're watching a lot of things. Is it really investing? So what happens when IPL gets terminated? Suddenly they said, okay, we are deferring the IPL matches. We don't want to do. A 6-second ad on TV would cost anywhere between 10 to 25 lakhs. So if somebody were to advertise on television during an IPL match, 6 to 26 lakhs or maybe 8 lakhs to 20 lakhs is what they have to pay for every time an ad which comes on TV for 6 seconds. So how much you think a company has to invest if it is a pan-Indian company or a national company? A lot of use cases in terms of the text analytics space. So you go sector-wise and see each sector, the trend. It could be the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, the categorization of various sub-categorization in each sector. Based on that, you could choose and see because all companies would not fit into each space. So from a startup company to a large scale player, how do we try to portray in the market? How do we penetrate in the market? What is our TSP? TSP is targeting, segmenting, and positioning. This happens on a continuous basis. I run a marketing campaign. My result is 0, or my result is only 1%. My result is 0.05%. My manager will not be happy. He says, we're not getting a good response by campaign which we are running either in the West India, Southern India, East India, North India, whatever it is. So sales and marketing analytics, we look at how or where the focus should be. So if you look at the breakup, this is a real-time data that is being shared with all of you. Customer acquisition to marketing mix to retention, social media, segmentation, branding, pricing. I mean, you can include market testing. You can include brand testing. You can include your early stage of checking your idea feasibility itself, right? If you have undergone any subjects or training on the innovation, on the design aspects, on the product attributes. Product attributes are features. So look at the percentage of analytics that companies are tending to use in real time. Okay, any percentage change will have a major impact on their revenues and their operations that they would tend to be portraying and working upon. Different types of sales analytics. Again, this has been a continued aspect by various speakers and various thought leaders as well. So, under each umbrella, try to see what is your relative sales and marketing data, relative business data. What is your effectiveness of the sales force effectiveness? So, if you look at the sales analytics adding value, is it your customer forecast? Is it the number crunching, a commonly term used in the sales domain? Is it the sales process or processes, your sales force structure, geographic deployment, how many salespeople you need, what kind of training that is required, right? In sales and marketing world, if you have come across creating business pitches, creating elevator pitches, very critical aspects. Elevator pitches primarily to look at how do we break the customer barrier? How do we break the customer monotony and the thought process? What is the goal setting that you need to factor from a typical sales format or the sales structure? And performance, of course. A weekly performance is what the measurement happens in terms of the sales progression in an organization. The several types of prioritization that are listed. There are certain limitations to sales analytics as well. One is the sizing, the number aspects in terms of systems that are required. Two is what kind of sales force and the sales team and sales structure you think would be really need. So how does sales analytics systems work? Depending on your budget, the team, the interaction, the number, the sales attribution, sales collateral, very important. Collateral is your sales documentation. That is your sales brochure, your sales document, your flyers, maybe your YouTube video, sales podcast, whatever that you think that could be relevant to you. Metrics of measurement are very much required. When we look at futuristic impact, brand impact, digital brand impact, or we look at the marketing response for a campaign, right? Somebody asked this question. I do ask a lot of students and people in a B2B campaign. what should be a marketing response? Can anybody take a guess? In a B2B, if you run an email campaign in a B2B space, what should be your an ideal response? People can again use the chat window or the speaker, either ways. We are sending emails to 100 people in a B2B. B2B is business to business. So what could be or what should be an idealistic response issue? The very fundamental aspect any management business person would factor.
Maybe about 20 to 30%.
My goodness, ma'am, you are saying this?
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll take one or two other inputs from people as well. I hope the students are not exhausted.
Syed is saying more than 70%.
Okay.
So there is an answer from Harshal. It is 5 to 10%.
Okay, good. Industry standard is 4%.
4%. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
4%. So if I were to write a metric unit of measurement, so if I'm sending an insurance email to 100 CIOs, or let's say I represent Infosys Insurance Software, I write to 100 people, 4 responses, maybe out of 4, 3 can be no, 3 can be negative, still it is considered good. Response need not be only a positive response, even a negative, people are saying, I'm not interested in your service, is still a good response. Because somebody has actually read through it. The European Western world do acknowledge emails. If they feel it is good, they say, yes, let us talk. If they say no, they don't talk. So metrics, very much important. Footfall, a common term, everybody in the marketing, sales, business development world will be working through forever. Because if there is no footfall, somewhere the approach, the visualization, the placement isn't very healthy and correct. So what is the writing?
I request students to please mute themselves.
I have muted, ma'am. I have muted.
Yes.
Sir, you carry on.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So short-term and long-term marketing budgets, how much of budgets need to be allocated, implemented and executed. So there is a budgetary allocation that needs to be done. If we don't spend, we don't get anything back in return. One fundamental aspect of any marketing or a sales kind of an execution, in the backdrop, better to use an analytics, at least to say, out of 100 prospective customers, how many might purchase my brand? How many might purchase my product? So if I say 100, my manager might say 50. His manager might say only 40. Okay, one more question. Should we take a best case scenario or a worst case scenario? What should we consider? If you were to do any market budgeting or a sales budget. So should we look at a best case scenario or a worst case scenario? Yeah. So one person is saying worst case scenario. So take a worst case scenario and work to see if you can get those kind of a response that is required and which could be helpful. So B2B sales and marketing analytics, we will spend a little more some time here before we move forward and move on to the Q&A session. So tools, KPIs. KPIs are key performance indicator. It is a dashboard. All of us use dashboards. All of you have Gmail accounts. Go to Google Analytics with your user ID and password on your mobile phone or wherever, and just type Google Analytics. Simple. You can log into their account and see what are the graphs that indicate. In the beginning of the session today, I spoke to you about the LinkedIn performance of your individual profile. So that is your KPI. How many people are watching your page? How many people are responding to your page? Is your information good? Is your hashtag? Okay, a lot of people believe hashtags that are there on LinkedIn are good. I put my own hashtags. I mean, I don't want to do the LinkedIn way, right? Donald Trump, Facebook and Twitter had stopped, had removed or temporarily had stopped Donald Trump's account because of a problem with the United States in the elections. So Donald Trump has come up with his own social media platform. If you recall, Google stopped Paytm in India for 2 days. What did Paytm do? They had come up with their own platform. They said, we don't need help of Google. We don't need help of Google Play Store. Anyway, those are the market insight information. So have KPIs built. Look at what kind of gauge, what is the response that you can do? What are your critical parameters? So if you were to run a business, what are your critical parameters? What are your core parameters? Can you change your business model? Can you change the way your business works? Can you look at the current market trend and align and realign your business opportunity and business engagement? I mean, this is a good food for thought for most of the businesses, isn't it? So likewise, whatever the market demands, can you create a capability or a new age product and start working through build it? So metrics, very essential. Marketing analytics adoption. I mean, if you look at the budgetary aspects, the data that is available. If you don't have data, can you use any social media platform to connect to either the shorter version of the audience or the wider version of audience? I mean, so this is the holistic insight that has been shared by you. I will keep the session open for any discussion or any Q&As, questions that anybody would have to put forward.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have a question, sir.
Okay.
Sir, to become a market analyst, what skills do we need?
Again, this is quite a broad area. Primarily, you need to understand how does marketing work in a company. Okay. You would also need to know how do you manage data. Does Excel suffice you, or do you have to learn Python to churn the data? If you were to create a predictive model for 2 quarters, maybe you should use Python as a programming language. Either you create a machine learning model to tell the system what kind of a implication that you intend to do. But sales system, sales life cycle, marketing system, marketing life cycle needs to be understood pretty well.
Thank you, sir.
The participants have any questions, they can use the chat box. There is one question from Shubham again. He is asking how marketing analytics is different from business analytics.
Marketing remains with the marketing function. Business is for the entire organization. I mean, there could be areas where a sales function works maybe in silos, does not work with marketing. So from that perspective, you might have to look at only from a marketing team or from a marketing perspective. Does that answer your question, Shubham?
Yes, sir. So I want to know one more thing, sir. For marketing analytics, does we need to learn programming?
There's a lot of, very good question. I mean, in today's world, every industry sector is either being automated or getting automated. Okay. Many people will think, or you also might think, I'm a management student, I'm an MBA person, I'm a PGDM student. Should I know software or should I not know software? My answer to you is yes, definitely you should. Why? Because the role transformation has been happening last 5 to 7 or 5 to 10 years. If you say I'm an excellent marketing person, I don't understand marketing technology, I can't write a predictive model, maybe your chance of your role in a company to move forward might be limited. You will be limited only within the marketing function where technology enablement does not take to a large extent. Uh, it is not dangerous. I mean, it is not difficult. Many people say, oh, programming is not my cup of tea. If you spend it longer time, 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months, learn one programming language, one database, and one visualization. Visualization is about the front end tool. You will progress faster. You will move forward in your job role and also in your career, both together.
Sir, there is one more question. What percentage of Indian companies today are applying marketing analytics? And can we find the opportunities in marketing analytics now? In the sense, what is the future or the field of marketing analytics in India?
All the startups which are imbibing digital space or a digital technology, there is a tremendous potential under the marketing analytics space. I would rather say, go to a company called Bhavna Shunti from a town called Nanjangud on the Mysore-Ooty highway. If you go to an Ayurvedic shop in Bangalore or Mysore, on the label of this particular product, they say it is 100-year-old company. So there are companies in India which are not popular, not Tatas and all those biggies. There are a lot of small companies which are there in India for more than 100 years. They are surviving, they are doing good, they are doing a lot of marketing campaigns, and they don't use analytics. Amrutanjan might not use analytics. Nanjangud company might not use analytics. There is a Woodward Gripe Water. If you go to a pharma shop, a medical shop, on the label, you'll find this is a 110-year-old company. They don't use analytics. So marketing analytics is used for companies which churn the data, which means you want customers to come and buy again, day in and day out. The big baskets of the world. Okay, Groffer. No, I'm not talking only of the big brand names. There are a lot of small e-commerce, online, digital platform companies. So there is a tremendous potential because a lot of youngsters feel the next boom, the next wave is only online and not offline. But the flip side is a lot of offline businesses still exist, will continue to do. I'm not sure if you follow news. Parle-G made 70% profit and additional business in COVID 1.0 last year. Amul launched 33 products during the peak of lockdown 1.0, 2.0 in 2020. So marketing analytics is a tremendous area where Shubham had a question earlier. Learn one CRM tool, customer relationship management tool, along with analytics, which can help you normalize structure and follow data in the best way possible.
Kiran sir, there's one question which is posed by Himanshu. He is asking how artificial intelligence is helpful in the finance sector and what kind of course do they have to do in terms of mastering artificial intelligence in finance?
If it is to do with any compliance-based work, compliance here is if you go to the Basel compliance, which is the European banking compliance. Okay, there are a lot of banks, asset management companies, hedge funding companies, which comply to a specific compliance either in Europe or America or in India. They use software which is under the regulation of that particular compliance, right? So if you pick up the American Express Bank, or if you go to the Deutsche Bank, go to the HSBC, look at the tools that are used and analytics which get embedded into it, either for their background process or to their front end, either ways. There are a lot of internal systems that use AI ML. There are also a lot of AI ML tools which are customer interfaces. Let's say a user like you and me. There are a lot of user interfaces. So you need to AI in general with a specific compliance and a norm, either for European banking or the Asian banking or the Indian banking, whatever norms are there. I think that would be part two. Once you join a bank, you might get trained on it, but AI, whatever tools that are required under the AI spectrum, with respect to the BFSI, banking, financial services and insurance, that is good. I mean, that will be helpful.
Okay. So there's one more question from Chintan. What course to do in analytics in the field of supply chain and logistics?
Supply chain and logistics, you would have to look at. I don't have the tool name per se as such. Again, data warehousing and BI. There are a lot of business intelligence tool that is being used in automation. If you can go to Microsoft BI, then there is Power BI. There's a company, I'm not able to recall the name. There are a lot of business intelligence and data warehousing tools used in the supply chain and logistics world. Okay, so you could search on them and seek a course there specifically to get to know or get more insights.
So there's one more question which Nitya is asking. Can we integrate marketing analytics measures in offline and online for better marketing effects?
Good question. Like I said, go to Amrutanjan and use marketing analytics to increase their revenue from 10 to 50%. Go to a standalone company, let's say Dabur, which is 140 years old, pick up product of Dabur, which might not be present online, and try to market it across. You'll definitely get business. Patanjali had a COVID tablet, which Government of India said this tablet or pill will not be effective. This tablet of COVID of Patanjali is not available anywhere in the India. All the what do you call the shelves of the shops are empty. So can you market a product either with Himalaya, Patanjali, make it successful? Definitely, you will have a lot of success that you can get. That is on the offline part. For a digital product, for a digital, let us say in the metro store, the metro wholesale cash and carry, I came across organic onion. Onion itself comes from the ground, and people are saying we can offer you an organic onion, maybe 40 rupees more expensive, 30 rupees more expensive than an onion price. There are people willing to buy. So you could pick up a product and go to Amazon website, 5 crore products. Out of 5 crore, 40% are not well-known brand names at all, and a lot of people buy them. Lot of people buy. People don't think about brand name when they buy on Amazon. When they go to your local market, people say, okay, this brand I've not heard. I mean, it is all your thought process in the consumer's mind. You can apply to both a non-conventional offline product. You can apply marketing analytics. You can apply marketing analytics to a completely digital product. But a bit of a strategy and a small change that happens. Does that answer your question?
I think definitely that would satisfy Nitya, I suppose.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? There is a link which has been shared through the chat here to all the participants. I request all the participants to please use that link to share the feedback about this particular workshop. This would definitely help us and Grahatech to further give you better learning sessions in future.
Definitely, we'll be more than happy if you have a fantastic participation like this, not just only the analytics space. We can have knowledge sessions where it could be useful not only for a job and career. I mean, I would say knowledge is first, job and career can take a second. If not, I mean, knowledge is power. If we have knowledge, we can conquer anywhere. I mean, whatever we feel in the world. So we could definitely look at it and work through with the management team on a idealistic time for everybody to connect back. I mean, in the near future or a little further.
Yes, now I would request Shubham to take over and proceed for vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am, so much. Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful presentation. Now, appreciation is wonderful things. It makes what is excellent in others belong to us as well. As a mark of this gratitude, I would like to request my dear friend Tejas to extend the vote of thanks.